this will work. So they'll be at home, they log in. Gotta make sure I turn everything down. And this isn't ideal because okay, so this is one of the rare technologies that it actually unplug this. It actually doesn't work as well when you're in the same room. Because it's designed for you to be somewhere else, not with the robot. But if you wanted to, so basically that robot would be in the classroom, you'd be at home or at the hospital, and you're just basically looking at, if you can see here,
that's what you see.
That you'd be looking at the classroom, and when it's time to move, you just, is it gonna go for me? It's got that little bump in front of it. Let me give it a little boost here. So you just go wherever it needs to go in the school.
I know. I feel like I have seen.
Well,
I would think, yeah. What happens when it gets to stairs?
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't go upstairs.
So what would they do?
Well, what you would have in the school is you have an angel that would do this. They don't weigh a whole lot.
When you said angel, I thought you meant a literal angel.
No,
so you
that's
meant someone nice that understands it needs to go
we-
up the stairs.
In any situation like that in a school, you're going to have a what we call angels, which are kids that are asked to be on the lookout. In case,
Is that what they're called?
we call them angels?
Okay.
So, because the device might go into a nook or a corner of the school that doesn't have Wi-Fi signal, and it's just going to stop. So kids just know, hey, just pick it up and move it a few feet, and they'll be back in business.
Right. So if they saw, if an angel saw this at the bottom of the stairs, they would take it up the stairs. But how would they know what floor?
No, well, what we would probably have is an understanding. Well, first of all, we primarily use it with elementary school students, and elementary school students tend to be one-room buildings.
One floor.
One floor.
Yeah.
Not one room. One floor buildings. We have had some high schools, but the high schools we used only had one floor. But basically, you would have all that set up, and the kids would understand. Listen, this thing needs to get up to the second floor after second period is over, and so somebody would be responsible for taking it up in the elevator or something like that. So you would just have it in place.
So someone would be assigned to do that. It just wouldn't be someone random or whatever.
And so if the kid's in a classroom and you want to let the teacher know I have a question, you just swipe up.
Oh, there we go.
It's really tall.
Now, as a teacher, you would have to be paying attention to that, though, wouldn't
right,
you?
but it's easier. It's better than the person just waving or yelling.
Yes.
So
how high does it go?
That's the maximum.
Oh, that's the maximum height.
And it does move when it's at its maximum height, but it doesn't move as well, and it's not. The balance is kind of off, so it's easier to tip over. But that's. Yeah. I've unplugged it so that I unplugged the microphone so you can't, because when you're in the same room with it, right? This thing is designed it's listening for sound to send to that iPhone.
Right.
And that iPhone is doing the same thing, listening for sound to send.
And then transfer, and then they're hearing.
Right. So it's just a continuous loop and feedback. When it's in the same room, it doesn't really work as well. But you could, if you mute everything, then you can move around and show people how it works. But you wouldn't need it if you were in the same room with it, because you're in the same room. You would just be listening to the teacher. But that's just an example of a little school program that we have. We think it works because.
What's the name of the program?
Well, we call it our Telepresence robot program, but our informal name for it, we call them Jacob's robots. Jacob was a kid that in the Worthington school system, it was our first test case. He was a kid. He didn't have cancer, but he had some kind of mysterious lung problem, and it was a life-threatening situation. And Jacob went to school for 1.5 years with a Telepresence robot, and so we just but like starting 6th grade, Jacob didn't need it anymore. He had improved, and we think at least in some very small way we had something to do with that, because he was kind of depressed. He was not looking forward to the school day. He slept till 11. Nobody could come visit him. His friends couldn't come visit him. The only place he could go was the hospital or to his grandparents' house. So, it's weird, but by bringing a robot into Jacob's life, you actually kind of keep him normal, because he checks in every day with all of his friends and the teachers that care about him, and he knows that he's still part of this school, and that everyone, he's still somebody that they're thinking about, and it actually helped. Even though it's the weirdest thing you could think of, to have them represented by a robot is actually a way to keep them somewhat normal during an incredibly difficult time in their life, and to be pulled from class, to get cancer, and then be pulled from class because of that, and be isolated because of that is doubly difficult. And so we're doing, with this little program, our best to try to minimize that second part and make sure that they are still part of their community.